if we're talking about Tinder and how long does it take, or how long should we take before we message after a match? This is something that both men and women ask about. And whether we're talking about Tinder or any other online dating platform, what I'm going to talk about is relevant and important. So pay attention, all right? So we basically have this decision: immediate or not immediate. And you could call that not immediate, delayed, whatever. But the point is, we are planning to send a message. It's just a matter of when. So everything is a calculated decision. You're conscious of this, that you're consciously making a decision to do it right now, or I'm going to wait. But I'm not waiting because I have things to do. I'm not waiting because I forgot. I'm fully aware, but I'm still going to wait, whether it's 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days. It's a conscious, purposeful decision that I'm making. All right, so let's think about this. Here's the thing. One thing that I know that is in play is that all of us have kind of been influenced by the outside world. And we've heard all sorts of things growing up, from TV, from movies, from friends, from family. I think all of us have heard this sort of idea out there that, like when a guy gets a girl's number, he should wait 3 days before he gives her a call, because that way she'll think you're cool. It's not exactly great advice, and it's not even relevant so much in the online dating world, as I'm going to kind of share with you. Look, if you want to send a delayed message, here's probably why you're doing it. You're doing it because you don't want someone to think that you're not cool, or you don't want someone to think that you're desperate. Basically, you're wanting to make sure that they have a good impression about you and that you don't mess it up. So you don't want to, you're thinking if you message immediately, they might think that you're desperate, that you're a little needy or a loser, or you didn't have anything better to do, but you're looking at your phone the whole time because you've got no life. And when you saw the match, you immediately. So you're thinking worst case scenario. Someone thinks that you have no life, you're desperate, you're a loser, and you're just staring at your phone because you have nothing else going on in your life. That's the worst case scenario, okay? But here's the thing. Even if that is true, even if that does happen, and it does, there are people out there like that. Let's be real. Are they the exception or are they the norm? They're not the norm. They are the minority. We're going to focus on the majority. So that means that we're not going to really think about them too much, because if we focus on this very small minority who are obviously difficult to please, then that's not very productive, because we're going to turn off everyone else. So let's not think about that. Instead, what I want to do is share with you why I think messaging immediately is a much better idea. And I don't come to this idea just like, oh, let me just pick one out of a hat. Pick one for the following reasons. First off, you should message immediately because your competition isn't waiting and sitting out while you're trying to be cool and trying to create this image about who you are. If you want to take your time, that's a decision you can make, but at the same time, understand that other people are currently joining online dating platforms, and there are new profiles out there for someone else to be catching interest for, or there are other people out there who are not sitting it out, not trying to be cool, and they're messaging the person that you want to connect with while you're not. So guess what? They have the opportunity to make a connection and jump ahead of you in that sort of pecking order, if you will. Next up, if you have someone that is that you recognize just matched you, and you get that notification bell and you check and you're like, oh man, I just got a new match, cool. Well, guess what? When you get that notification bell and you saw it as it happened, or you heard it, or looked back at your phone and saw like, oh, this was just a couple minutes ago. Guess what? If you message immediately, the benefit is that they're more likely to respond, because, well, if it was just 2 minutes or just 0 minutes, they're probably still looking at their phone, probably still have it in their hand, or it's probably nearby. Chances are the odds are very much more stacked that it's nearby, or they're looking at it, rather than they're asleep, they're logged out, they're not going to look at their phone for a while, they're not going to look at Tinder for a long time. You're stacking the odds in favor of getting response, someone looking at their phone. So it's a smart move to me. Also, if you were going to message someone, why not get things started earlier? Like, you're going to send the same message probably, right? So why not send it immediately instead of 5 hours later? Because in the meantime, anything could happen in that 5 hours, and someone else, as I said, could be messaging and stealing your attention, or they could just not look at their phone. They could be looking at their phone for the next 4.5 hours. But if you message 5 hours later, they might not look at their phone for another 5 days. And so you missed a window to connect with them. And then 5 days later, they've got 20 other messages, 20 other people messaging them. And guess what? You fell down the pecking order. So instead, what you could have done was send that message immediately. And even if they didn't respond immediately, they would have had 4.5 hours of having their phone by, or being awake, or just being involved and wanting to kind of check their Tinder for them to decide, like, oh, let me get back to this person who sent me a message. Okay, well, you just have an opportunity to get the ball rolling. I think it's a better idea to get it off, started immediately rather than later. All right. Now, also, this is important because you're fresh in their mind. And what's fresh in their mind? Well, obviously you are. They matched you, but what does that match tell you? I want to remind you that it tells you that someone has approved of you. They've approved of your profile, of your pictures, of your written content. Basically, they've given you approval to make a connection, have a conversation. So go ahead and start it. Okay, it's not like you're going into a cold approach where you don't know if someone likes you, or will they approve, or will they, be mean to you. What do you have to worry about? Because the way Tinder works is that someone has to approve of you. They have to swipe right, and then you have to swipe right until the both of you approve of each other. Then no one can message. But if they've matched you, that means that they've either approved of you so that they're going to message you first, or they're open to you messaging them first and them responding. So why are we acting like we haven't gotten any indicator of interest? That match is it's a huge indicator of interest, or it's enough, at least, where you can be like, well, fuck yeah, why would you not expect me to message you? Or why would you think I'm uncool? Why, you just matched me. So that's not a concern. All right, so a reminder, if someone has matched you, they've given you approval, they've kind of waved you in and been like, come on in. If you want a message, go for it. I'll probably respond. I didn't match you for nothing. Or I might even be, if I matched you, I might be trying to message you right now. So things to consider. So what's in play? On one hand, we could balance the effect of a delayed message, which would be like, well, I could avoid appearing not cool or appearing desperate or anything negative. Well, sure, that could happen, but you could also avoid an opportunity to develop the connection. You could also avoid the opportunity to step over your competition. You could also be missing the opportunity to strike while the iron's hot. You could also be missing the opportunity to recognize that someone has approved of you. It's okay to message. Go for it. And that this online dating world is so competitive that you better get your foot in the door. Because if you're not, someone else is trying to get their foot in the door and take your place. Think of it as a pecking order. You only have fresh attention for so long before the next new shiny object comes along. Now, online dating isn't impossible, but you will achieve more success if you identify, hey, let's strike while the iron is hot. Let's maintain this momentum. Let's step over our competition. And messaging immediately is one of those strategies where I just don't see any negative that outweighs the benefit of messaging immediately. It's hard to win at the online dating game when you haven't been taught the foundational lessons that impact your experiences and success. So let's change that. Click here to watch all 8 videos from our Online Dating 101 playlist, and click below to visit onlinedatingdynamics.com to take advantage of free dating and online dating resources and to learn more about our online dating game strategy guide.